So in the last episode, we talked about while loops and how they work. If you have any more questions regarding that, feel free to leave a comment or message me on Discord, or join the help Discord and ask the helpers for some help. So in this video, we're going to be talking about tables, and specifically how tables work, right? So, what is a table? Well, a table is like your desk. Your desk has things in it, right? Your desk has pens, papers, uh, markers, paper, ink, whatever, lead for pencils, water bottles inside your desk, right? So that's essentially what a table is. So local, variable. Remember we talked about variable. You can make it local or a global. So local variable equals two brackets. Now two brackets basically means it's an empty array and or an empty table, whatever you want to call it. And in this table, you can put anything. You can put numbers, or you can put letters. Uh, sorry. Numbers or letters. You can put anything you want in here. And now this is a table containing these objects, right? So you may be asking, well, yeah, that's going on, but how do I print? Well, you just do print with uh, parentheses. Not, yeah, that's not a parenthesis. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you do print, and you do print var. Now let's see what happens. We notice it says, okay, well, oh god. Well, we have a table called this table, right? That's the table name that Roblox gave it. And it's a table. We know it's a table because in output you can clearly say it says table. Uh, OX 0xb2d, whatever that number is, right? I mean, yeah. So you notice that didn't print what's in the table. Now, to print all the items in the table, or if to print an item in the table, you call one. If you do one, this is the place it'll print one. I don't have to actually. I could just run the game. So you see it says one. Then we could do two, and it will print two. The second place. Sorry if that's confusing. Wow. Let me change the order. So if we print two, it'll print B. Because B is the one, two. This is the second item in the table. If we print three, my bad. If we print, I'm just going to print six. Why not? If we print the sixth table, it'll get the sixth item in the table. One, two, three, four, five, six. That item is A, right? Uh, Now you can do whatever you want in the table. For instance, if you want to put a player in the table, you can do this. Player, sorry, and I'm running the game. Nice. Now, if you want to add a player to a table, all you have to do is game. Remember the path to the player. Dot players. Dot player added. Remember how we talked about the object browse? If we go to players, where's players? We can see their functions. I am calling player added. This returns the person that added, or sorry, player added. This returns the player that just joined and the member of players. And then we have to connect it to a function and then player. And then press enter and the end should go down. Now, I am going to make a table. Equals table, right? Now we have a table called player list. So now if we print player list, we'll notice I didn't actually join the game. Well, notice it prints an empty table because there's nothing in it. And if we do 1, it'll print nil because there's nothing in it. Now, to actually add something to a table, you have to do table.insert. Insert. This means you're getting the table and you're inserting the player or whatever you want to insert. You can insert A into the table, B, C, D. You can insert whatever you want in the table. Now, when the player joins, I want to add a player. So I'll do player list, and then I will do the name of the table, player list, and then hashtag player list. Now, hashtag player list essentially gets all the items in the table that are there. If there's nothing, then it's 0. And then we're adding 1 to that number. So if six players join, the 6th player will be in the 6th place of the list. Right? So that's how that works. And then player, you have to put in other brackets. This is called a dictionary. Because once you have a table and you add another table, you're making a dictionary. So you can call it values. So you're doing player.name. And this will add the player to the list whenever he joins. And you notice that it didn't print anything because I didn't do print. Now I'm going to print player list, right? 1, like we said. Now we notice it says, hey, there's another table inside of this table. That's because it's a dictionary. So in order to call it, you need to do 1, or whatever number the player is. And then if we run it, it'll print, hey, SamJ22. Cool, SamJ22 is in the table. Now if you don't, let me explain a dictionary better. A dictionary is essentially a table inside of a table. So you have a table, you have a desk drawer. Pretend your desk drawer is the table. There's stuff in that desk drawer. Now, if you have anything in that desk drawer with something inside of it, so like let's say you have a box of staples. That box of staples is a dictionary because it's a table. It's inside of the drawer, which is a table, which is in a table, and the box of staples is inside of that table, and there is staples inside of that box of staples, if that makes any sense. So essentially a dictionary is this and that. This would be a dictionary. Right, so we could put whatever we want in here. We could do player, name, and we can set it equal to 5, or no, we can't set it equal, sorry. Player name, then we could do another variable. We could do health of player health, and we could do anything. And then we can make another one. We could do player 2, player health, like that. So we have player 1 and player 2. Player 1 has player health, player 2 has player health. So if we did this, player.name and player character dot humanoid dot health. So now we're getting humanoid health, and that's essentially what this will do. So if, let's say player 1 had 100 health and player 2 had 90 health, that would be in the table when the player joins. Also, the names don't matter because it's just a player name. You know how there's millions of players in Roblox. This doesn't matter. But that's essentially, we have a table, and then we're creating a dictionary. That's how that works. Now if I run the game, it'll say attempted next now with humanoid because I'm not waiting for a character. That's not important right now. Yeah. Okay, so now we know how to print items in the table, right? But you're probably thinking, Is that the only thing? Can I only just I know how to add items, right? Well, what else can I do? Well, you can actually sort items in the table. So we're gonna make a number. So we're gonna do number equals game dot players equals game dot players. The hashtag game dot players. This essentially gets all the players in the game. So every time a player joins, a new player is added. And every time a player leaves, a player is removed. So it'll print out however many players are in the game. See, I'll show you an example. I'll print players. Well, notice it says get children. Sorry. Get children. Because you have to get the children of the players. And we'll see it says 1. Now we're going to go back to the object browse. You may be saying, what the heck is get children? Well, get children. It's essentially gets all the items of inside of folder. So I'm gonna make a folder, and I'm gonna put a bunch of remote events in here. Okay, well, so notice we have all these remote events, right? Now, if I do get children, game.server script service dot folder, get children, it will get all of these remotes, right? It'll get all this stuff in here. Now, if I add another remote to that, like this, Control C, Control V, we'll see. Well, hey, remote events has something inside of it. What if I want to get these remote events? Well, what if I want to get these items? Well, you just do get descendants. That will get the folder. It'll get these, and then it'll get these. It won't get the. It'll get everything essentially. It'll get this and all of these and all of these and all of these. Everything in the folder, including the stuff inside of the objects. So essentially, if I did that with, let me give an example. If I, you see player, so player's right here. If I wanted to get everything in the player, I'd do game.workspace.samej22, get descendants. That means I would get everything in the player. I would get the humanoid and all these sounds, all these values, the shoulder, all this stuff. I could get it all with get descendants. Now get children on the other hand only gets the first thing that it finds. So it would only get the parts, not the stuff inside of the parts or inside of the folders. That's the difference between get children and get descendants. Now these both create tables. That it's just like this. We're creating a table here. We're inserting stuff into a table. This players. If I did this without the hashtag, get players. This is creating a table with the players. And that's essentially making this, but with all the players' names. Player 1, Player 2, Player 3. But I just want the number of the players. So I'm inserting the player name into a table. Now I'm going, or dictionary. Now I'm inserting the player number, players. So now we see we have the name and the number, the player number. So if there's 6 players, this number will be 6. And then I am going to print player list 1, 1, and 1, 2. And you'll see SamJ22, 1, because I am the only player in the server. Now I'm going to do a server test by going over to test. And if you don't know how I got here, I recommend watching my beginner studio basics. And I'm going to start a server. Sorry, I'm waiting for it to load up. So now if we see, this is client, so it doesn't see anything. We see this. So it added 2 items in the table, right? It added player 1 and player 2. Yeah, team test is broken. My developer friends are right. Oh my gosh. Don't use server create. Well, what it would do in a real game is it would print my name, the other people's names, and their number. I obviously can't show that because I don't have a real game, but that's basically what it does, right? So now we know tables. So what if I just want to get the players whenever they join? So I'll get that. Game.players. What the heck? Game.players. Dot player added. Connect function, right? And then we're gonna do game.players get children. And we're gonna print player. And we'll say, hey, we got another table. We have to do the same thing we did with that first table. We have to do 1. That'll print the first item. And we notice, hey, it's SamJ22. And however many. So if there's 100 players, you do 100, and that would get the 100th player. Now if we did get descendants, let's see what happens. We know, hey, it's still SamJ22. Yeah, 1 is not a player, yeah. So we notice it says, hey, it's still SamJ22, right? Well, yeah. Now, what the heck? Now we notice, hey, the second item in the table is starter gear. Yeah, okay. So we're getting the stuff inside of the player now. And if we do 3, it'll print backpack, which is inside of the player. Now we can't do this with get children. Let me show you how get children works. No, because that doesn't exist. That's what the only thing there is the player. And it's not getting any of this stuff. It's only getting me. So I'm the first thing in the list, right? Or table. Alright. So that's basically how tables work. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Discord. Also, my Roblox messages are open. Also, I will be linking the documentation links to the Discord server that you can get help if you need extra help. And I'm also going to be going on vacation for 2 days this weekend, so I won't be uploading. But I'll restart uploading on hopefully by Tuesday. In the meantime, if you have any questions, I highly recommend just reaching out or anywhere really. Also, I'm gonna give a shout out to my Roblox developer friend. His tag, his YouTube will be in my description. And he helped me set up and helped me do some things recently. I just wanted to give him thanks for some stuff he did. And see ya.